So when the organizers first contacted me, that I told them a bit about my life as a computer science engineer in Korea, and they said I should talk about it. And most of you are familiar with some numbers about women in STEM areas in Korea, in your country, and in the world. And also that Korea has been scoring solidly at the very rock bottom in the Economist Glass Ceiling Index since 2016. Yet things are moving in the right direction, if not fast enough to our satisfaction. So I'll talk about some numbers around my life experience. In 1984, when I entered the College of Engineering, fresh out of girls' high school, there were only 31 women out of 1,033. The College of Engineering had only one woman faculty, and she retired as the solo woman in 1998. Only in the 21st century, the college had hired multiple women, and that was Seoul National University. I didn't know that the 3% ratio at the time of college entrance would stay for the rest of my life. I somehow imagined that once I got out of college, women would spring up around me, and I would go back to the gender-balanced setting as in the elementary school. I must have hallucinated. The reality was very different. Women in those days could not even apply to big companies, got less pay, even if hired, and were challenged at every opportunity for promotion. And that was the story of me and my friends. Systemic discrimination was endemic. When I came back to Korea in 2003, after a PhD and a few years of research lab experience in the US, the situation has improved a bit. The number of women in undergrad STEM areas programs has increased significantly in double digits. And the ratio of PhDs produced was above 10% in many fields. Not only in the student body, but there was a big bump in the number of female faculty in the early 2000s at the national universities. A small group of professors lobbied rigorously and secured 200 positions for women in national universities. Can you believe that? The Seoul National University Law School had its first women only in 2003. One out of the newly secured 200 headcounts. Although I'm the first full professor as a woman in the College of Engineering at KAIST, we already boast 25% women among new hires. And 45% of PhDs from the College of Life Science are women, and we plan to match that ratio in the faculty in the next few years. So the government has started monitoring this gap between the PhDs produced and the new hires. This is a great policy-based enforcement tactic. This gap, monitoring and reduction policy, applies to all national universities. This change could have been possible only with the vision and tenacity of the first generation women, engineers and scientists. So few in numbers, but yet so forceful, and I feel forever indebted to them. Founded in 1997, KWSC was the first organization of women in STEM areas and has been the breeding ground for leaders. Last year, we celebrated 20th anniversary of Act on Fostering and Supporting Women Scientists and Technicians. Thanks to this legislation, organizations such as Korea Federation of Women's Science and Technology, 여성과총, Women in Science, Engineering and Technology in Korea, 여성공학기술인협회, of which President is in the audience, and WISET, Korea Foundation for Women in Science, Engineering, etc. These organizations have been founded and nurture next generation leaders. With ambitious and powerful role models in college, students will envision a different life from my classmates 40 years ago. Certain areas in STEM, like pharmacy, dentistry, medicine, life science, etc., already have above 30% women in undergrad. But physics and math, barely above 5%, and engineering, still under 20%. So we have to keep expanding the pipeline. Digital technology has changed modern life and empowered young generation with easy access to information and knowledge like never before. As one of the most wired countries in the world, Korea is leading the digital transformation in K-culture, e-government, banking, manufacturing, and many other fields. Yet, the digital divide among the elderly people is a serious social problem. Considering the long history of unequal access to education and career opportunities, we should pay close attention to gender biases in the digital divide. Among the metrics included in the Economist Glass Ceiling Index, the GMAT score, paid leaves for mothers, and that for fathers are improving fast for Korea. The percentage of female GMAT takers jumped by 10% in 2020 alone, a very, very encouraging sign. No causality study I'm aware of, but I'd like to pinpoint at one contributing factor. In 2020, Capital Markets Act, 자본시장법, was modified to enforce diversity on the board of directors in large companies. The ratio of women in the boardrooms of big companies has jumped by 8% since 2020. Let's push that ratio continue to rise. Thank you very much.